Hi, I'm Jaren. I'm currently studying in Singapore Polytechnic. 3 years ago, I was failing badly in school. Let me share with you how this has all changed. In secondary school, while others spend their time revising, I spent 20 to 25 hours a week on gaming. Every day, I played the computer game Blackshot for at least 4 hours. On Saturdays, I played LAN for the entire day. At the age of 14, I was spending over $100 each month on gaming. Not surprisingly, I did not do well for my exams. I scored mainly C's and D's and failed 1/3 of all my subjects. In secondary 1, I was the bottom 10 in class. I did not really care. Studies were not important to me. As I entered secondary 3, I told myself that it was time to be serious. However, at the end of that year, I scored 30 points for my L1R5. I was so shocked. It was my worst grades ever. My school labelled me as a black diamond. Black diamonds were the students in my school who scored above 25 points for their L1R5 at the end of secondary 3. My O-levels were in less than a year and my results were still so hopeless. I felt like giving up. I was so frustrated, but I did not know what I could do. As I moved on to secondary 4, I only managed borderline passes for most of my subjects. My parents were called in to meet my teacher. It was during this year when I came to Heart of God Church. Even though I was already a Christian, I did not attend church regularly. It was then when God challenged me to never miss a service although I was taking my O-levels. At the time, I thought it was okay to miss services to study, but I wanted to take God's word seriously. A month later, it was Academic Excellence Weekend. Pastor preached a sermon on creating winning habits. Pastor said, winning is a habit. Consistency comes out of habits. All my life, I spent my time on gaming. After hearing Pastor's sermon, I was so inspired. I wanted to create my own winning habits. In the past, I studied blindly without a plan. But now, I've learned to study with an objective in mind. Every Sunday morning, I went to church at 9 a.m. to study. Soon, my results started to improve. When the time to receive my O-level results came, I was so nervous. But I knew that God was in control. When I finally saw my results, I was so surprised. From scoring 30 points 1 year ago, I actually scored an L1R5 of 10 points for my O-levels. I could enter a junior college and was eligible for almost every course in all the polytechnics. This was way beyond my expectations. I chose to enter Singapore Polytechnic's Aeronautical Engineering course. Later on, I was even awarded a scholarship that covered 100% of my school fees. Never would I have thought that I would end up getting a scholarship. I was so grateful to God. Even when I was failing, He already had a plan for me. As the only churchgoer in my family, I wanted them to experience the same power of God. My dad was very curious about how much I had changed after coming to church, so I decided to invite him for service.
Since Jaren was in secondary 1, my wife and I met his teachers regarding his results every term. It was so often that we have nothing left to say to the teacher. Seeing how Jaren just wasted his time away on gaming, I felt so frustrated. Sometimes I even wished that his computer could break down, but there was nothing I could do. I was so happy when I found Jaren did so well for his O-level. I realized that after he went to church, his result improved a lot. He also seems to be more responsible. I decided to go to his church to find out what caused this change. When I finally came, the first thing that impressed me was how the usher greeted me. That gave me a very good impression of the Heart of God Church. Then I heard the stories of young people here. I saw how the church was really making a difference in their lives. I was very touched and even cried. Since that day, I kept coming back. I really enjoyed the pastor's sermon as they were very easy to understand. Now I attend the service every weekend. From not talking at home now, Jaren and I even talk about what we have learned in church over the weekend. Pastor always said, from my generation onwards, it will be different. I know that my son could have opportunity that I never had. I'm so proud of him. Church has really changed him. I'm always share his story with my friends and colleagues.
From my studies to church to whatever passion I have, my dad will always stand by my side. I can only do all that I'm doing now because my dad has always been so supportive of me. As I started volunteering more in church, I know I must still do well in school. Even in Polytechnic, I continue applying winning habits as I study. In the past 1.5 years, I finished every semester with a perfect GPA of 4.0. I was even on my school's honor roll. It is for students who are in the top 10% of the cohort.
I'm so proud of my son and so grateful to Heart of God Church and their academic excellence program. Above all, I know that God's plan for us are greater than what we can imagine.
In June 2015, I was awarded yet another scholarship, the A-Star Scholarship. Only people with a GPA of 3.95 and above were nominated for it. This covered 100% of my school fees. I even get an annual allowance of $2,000. It's hard to believe that just 3 years ago, I was a black diamond in school, but now I am scoring perfect GPAs and awarded scholarships. I aim to enter Nanyang Technological University's engineering course. Now, I no longer waste my time away aimlessly. God and How God Church have shown me the destiny I could have. I'm excited to see what my future has in store for me.